Welcome to week 7, where we are going to discuss weather systems and forecasting. And in this video, we are going to get into the theories and ideas behind storm systems and weather systems and forecasting. Before we get into the details of what weather forecasting is, how forecasting works, we're going to get kind of a review of the behavior of these weather systems, what's controlling them, and kind of what the main factors that go into forecasts are. So this should be a review from last week. Weather systems are driven by and created by global atmospheric circulation, so that convection of the air within the troposphere. Think back to our week 6 lab where we modeled the atmospheric circulation. Also air masses, so the development of large volumes of air having a uniform humidity and temperature. Weather fronts, the boundary between air masses, and the process of developing and dissipating cyclonic storms. So just to breeze through these slides real quick, global scale, remember we have our 3 circulation cells. There's tropical flow, or the Hadley cell, subtropical flow, or the Ferrel cell, and then the polar circulation or polar cell that are continuously rotating air throughout the atmosphere, so developing these atmospheric currents and bands where we're going to see areas that are going to produce lots of precipitation and cloud cover and low pressure zones. So we have a band where we tend to see a band of low pressure, and then we have areas where we have a band of clear skies as a result of high pressure systems. And then, as we learned from the videos we watched during lab last week, that these circulation patterns affect the upper air currents, which include the subtropical jet and the polar jet. So you can see those here, and the waves that are produced as a result of the motion of the Earth's rotating. And then we have our polar air masses. This is what's going to control temperature and humidity. So these air masses develop over certain areas and then move from place to place. You can see some of the arrows on this diagram. So knowing where these air masses tend to develop and knowing where they tend to shift to help in forecasting what the weather might be like and how it might change over time. Weather fronts, knowing where the boundary between different air masses are, so knowing what that looks like on surface maps and isobaric maps, and it also cloud cover can also tell you the different types of fronts where the boundaries are, and then looking at temperature and how things change. And then the development and demise of cyclones. So we have 2 major types we talked about last week: mid-latitude cyclones and hurricanes. Mid-latitude cyclones, you remember this from last week, the Norwegian cyclone model. So the development of a mid-latitude cyclone, how it develops its wave or kink, and over time develops into a pretty nasty storm, and then eventually dissipates. And then we have tropical cyclones that develop in the tropics over warm water and can turn into some pretty gnarly hurricanes that follow these tracks you can see here for the US. So it's kind of a review of these different types of atmospheric circulation patterns, controls, theories behind the behavior of weather systems. So all of this information is what goes into creating a forecast. So knowing the behavior of the atmosphere and these weather systems is a big part in knowing what might happen in the future. So we'll stop there and come back and talk about weather forecasting.